Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today in front of us I get to show you guys one of the more interestingly shaped ships to come from the Star Wars universe. This is the Droid Tri Fighter, and the custom design we are looking at right here came from the builder Thomas Jenkins. These three equidistant arches that make up the main body of this ship are meant to look like the skull of some ancient space beast within the Star Wars universe, which is kind of an interesting idea. And for being the single shortest starfighter in the Star Wars universe, it is by no means the most lightly armed vehicle that you can find flying around in a space battle. Before I jump into any further details of this LEGO design, I do want to say that if you wanted to build this creation for yourself, the building instructions can be found at our web store, www.brickvault.toys. Included with each purchase is the PDF step-by-step building guide, as well as a digital parts list for uploading all the pieces that you will need online so you can make your order for parts very quickly. And purchasing instructions from us is a great way to help both what we do here at the channel, and it also really helps support the amazing designers that we work with, like Thomas. He's been working on some awesome creations, a lot of which come from the Clone Wars era of Star Wars, and the Tri Fighter is about as ambitious of a design that you can come up with. It really is a truly unique looking ship. At around 18 centimeters long, it is still over 400 pieces, and that's because it is as high as it is wide. It's still a very, very thick ship, and there were a ton of little parts used to make these arches look as smooth as possible. Also, to give you guys an idea of how big this build is, I'm flashing a bunch of the other minifig scale Star Wars ships by the screen right now. These all should be scalable within a diorama, which means they are all the correct size in relation to each other. And the Droid Tri Fighter is indeed the smallest in terms of length when it comes to its actual size compared to anything else in the Star Wars universe. The gun sticking out in the front might add that maybe 10% or so more based on how this design works. The connection points had to be a little stronger there towards the front in order for this thing to really be a structurally sound build. And I think that was the correct design choice made by the designer, because at the end of the day, when you are pushing the bricks to the limit in order to get some amazing looks across, like the very smooth archway design that we have on this build, all other aspects of your design, or ship in this case, have to be balanced out in one way or another. The extended gun in the front almost feels a little bit caricature-like, because when you take a look at the Tri Fighter from the film or some of the TV show episodes, it does indeed give you that kind of longer, larger snout protruding idea when taking a look at the ship from the very front. When talking about other armaments, you can see that there are some screwdriver pieces that have been embedded on all three of these arched wing pieces, along with a little bit of armor detailing or covering in the shape of a minifigure ski. And then those Technic sloped trans red pieces are probably the perfect part to make up those glowing red eyes in the front, and I particularly appreciate the layered detailing behind the trans black dome that makes up the brain of this semi-sentient robot fighter. I think technically this area is the gyroscopic reactor core, so it looks like something both that is a power source and holds onto the actual brain of the ship. Now, when looking at the different archway pieces, you can see that it is made of a outer flexi tube and an inner flexi tube with very particularly placed bricks that go on both the inner and outer side of these pieces, and that allows these sloped bricks to curve around in both a very fluid way and also very structurally sound, super solid way. I mean, these are actually really, really strong bits of the build. The thrusters in the back are a relatively simple attachment as well, though I think their look is captured pretty accurately. And then as we swing our way over towards the front, you can see some rather larger armaments down at the bottom of the ship. There is an actual bottom of the Tri Fighter. These are a whole heck of a lot bigger than just about any other missiles you see in the Star Wars universe, I feel. That's because their payload is relatively large. I don't know how many buzz droids come out of each explosion, but it looks like quite a lot. They attach on relatively strong, and I think they look pretty cool as an extra armament for this already pretty heavily armed little ship. Now it's time to jump into the handling section of this video, where I show you guys just how strong and or durable these display models really are. This is a surprisingly strong vehicle when it comes to its kind of unique shape. Usually something that looks like a more conventionally shaped starfighter that looks maybe like a plane or something, you assume that it's naturally strong, and anything that's a strange looking shape like this, you might assume is sort of weak, but that's not the case here. You can pretty much touch this, handle it, hold on to it from any side, obviously, any of the three main sides, any part of those three main sides, and nothing wiggles out of place, really bends out of shape, and so far nothing has actually broken off. Even the smaller extremities, including the ski pieces and those little black guns on any of the wings, are actually clipped on quite strong, and the same goes for all the little guns in the front, or the main cannon in the front. Things are studded in quite deeply, and I've yet to knock any single piece of greebling off the ship. So I hope it goes without saying that you can obviously swoosh this ship back and forth really easily, either by holding onto any of the wings, or of course holding it from the center. I usually just feel more comfortable holding any model from the center middle weight point, and you have no problem setting this down on a table, sliding it around, moving it around. It really is pretty darn durable, no matter how you handle it. Also, this is the display stand that you can use to post this thing up. There's a couple of inkwell pieces right at the top there, and that helps you stud into the bottom tread pieces that make up the center point of the Tri Fighter. You can see it a little bit better here from below, and there is, of course, some posability, mostly in terms of leaning the Tri Fighter back so it's pointing up. This original design for the display stand was actually used as the Vulture droid, and it pretty much just stuck around the same way for the Tri Fighter. And in terms of any meaningful posability on this model, it actually just comes from the stand right here. And that's about all I got to say about the Droid Tri Fighter Lego custom build. Remember, this isn't a ship that would have a pilot on the inside. It is just its own thing. And of course, because it's a high quality display piece, spring-loaded shooters and stud guns aren't included. It's just more supposed to look as realistic and close to its original source material as possible. I think Thomas did an excellent job knocking out this design. This is certainly a shape that I think a lot of builders sort of try to steer clear of because of its uniqueness and difficulty rating. And I can tell you right now, Ramon, who did the primary building for this model, said it was very, very precise in terms of placement along those flexi tubes. At the end, it was all worth it. It's a great looking shape. It's super, super strong. And if this is a model that you might want to build yourself, remember, you can always click the link in the description below. That's www.brickvault.toys. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.